they shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the time condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we shall remember them.
Our aim over the next 5 years is to take 2 children and 1 teacher from every state-funded secondary school in England. So altogether that's 12,000 people that will be taken to the battlefields of the Western Front. By actually taking the children out here, they are able to develop a personal connection to the First World War by seeing for themselves the cemeteries, the scale of some of the casualties, and also the fact that it is a world war.
The one thing for me for this particular grave is as I came on this particular tour, was finding something of local resonance, and I didn't realise that this particular nurse, she comes from my hometown, and that's something that actually brings it close to me, that all these individuals come from somewhere.
Leesenhoek here has people buried from all sorts of different nationalities, so they do get a sense that it is a world war as opposed to something that was very, very narrowly based and just between 1 or 2 countries.
10-2, yeah.
It's been really good. It's just seeing all the war memorials and everything, and how many this size of it, and how many people have died. I know there's quite a lot of memorials, but I didn't know there was this many. There's quite a lot of graves, and it shocks you when you come in.
We went to loads of cemeteries and they were really sad because it makes you think about what people have gone through for you and for everyone else.
I've learnt about how they've put all their brothers and sisters and all together, and you can put there's all sorts, there's Germans as well and Polish. We've even found Sikhs and Americans. So we thought that it's very good to put them all into one, because that shows how they care towards other people.
Gas was used for the first time in Ypres in 1915, and that's one of the things that we talk to the children about, and we take them to the site where it was first used. And of course they do some preparation in the classroom before they come, so that they understand that in the wider context. And I think again, coming out here where they see for themselves where some of the trench lines were, they don't just visit cemeteries and memorials, but they actually visit some of the battlefield sites too, and they see the archaeology of the First World War, so they get an understanding of that, of the very nature of that too.
I've enjoyed going to all the different places and just seeing what's around and seeing how the scale of what happened in the war.
People, they found their family in other cemeteries, and I think that's great, but I feel sorry for them because their family died in the war.
So why is that there?
What was the role of the people from all over the world that took part in the war?
Well, I think that's a really good question, Gurjit, is that the war was fought by soldiers all over the world, and you have to look at the British Empire here. So, for example, with India, there was over 100,000 men that were actually killed and wounded on the Western Front and in the First World War in general.
We take school groups to Neuve Chapelle, for example, which is the hugely significant Indian memorial, and they can see for themselves there the scale of the Indian contribution, first of all, of course, on the Western Front, And then in the second year of the war, many of the Indian troops were then taken to fights for the Allied cause in other theatres of war. But actually, I think the thing that the children don't often realise is how many Indian soldiers were actually here on the Western Front, and the absolutely critical role they played in the first few years of the war. And had it not been for their contribution, the Germans could well have broken through, and the war could have taken a different course.
I think it's good for us to learn about this stuff, and I think it's really interesting as well. It's all in a lot of detail, so it's really helped us to understand World War I better, because it was 100 years ago. So it's good for our knowledge as well, and it really helps you to sympathise with the people that did give their lives for us.
It's amazing, yeah. It's so moving to see like the scale of the war, and like the trenches as well was really interesting. Because I've never really experienced that before.
C'était la poétique douceur de la messe de minuit et la joyeuse chaleur du réveillon.
When we went to Toincott Cemetery, we found my great-great-uncle's panel. It was upsetting, like, to know that I was actually related to someone who was in, like, World War I and everything.
We learn history in school, and, like, it's obvious, and you think this is emotional, this is normal, this and that, but it's like more effective to see it in real life. Then it really touches you, and it makes you think about and reflect over the past.
One of our aims is to create really an enduring legacy, that we bring young people out here to the Western Front of the battlefields. They make that personal connection, they go back into school, they tell both their classmates and their communities of what they've seen, and they share what they've seen. And hopefully the young children that come here, and some of them have already said to us that they will be coming back quite soon with their families, and maybe as they get older they will bring their own children out here, so that the sacrifice of the people in the First World War is never forgotten.